you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Shante, and welcome to Shake It Up with Shante. If you've been here before, welcome back, and thank you as always. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome, and thank you guys so much. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I make my Southern style collard greens. They're actually collards and cabbage mixed. I think that's a trend now that people are mixing them, but I've been doing it for a while. And it's a great recipe. If you've never had collards and cabbage and you don't know how to make them, stay tuned and we're going to jump right into this video. So let's shake something up. Alright, so the first thing you're going to need is some collard greens. Now, I know a lot of people don't use the greens out of the bag, but since we're dealing with COVID-19, I've used these before, and there's no fresh greens in the store right now. You can't find the greens where you pick them and clean them, but that's okay. I'm not upset at all because I really didn't have time to be cutting up and cleaning them. You know, I didn't want to show you guys a video on that. It's several videos out there of how to cut up and clean collards, but I'm going to show you these are just as good. These are just fresh. They're pre-washed. They're still fresh greens. They're pre-washed. They're already chopped up for you, and they're put in a bag. These are a little bit more expensive, but it is enough. Trust me, it's enough. And I'm going to show you. These greens are cut very, very finely. This is how I like to chop and cut up my greens. Very small like this. These are some great greens. This brand, I got them from my local grocery, but I've seen them at several grocery stores. But I actually like to use these, and I prefer to use these. I just really wanted some fresh and on the stem so I can show you guys how I cut them up and clean them and so forth. But due to COVID-19, and I don't want to get into all of that, because I know a lot of people are already talking about that, but we're not going to talk about that. But that's how come I have these in the bag. Next, this is my cabbage. This head of cabbage was $1.40, so I'll be mixing the two together. You need a fresh onion because I like to put onion in mine. A little bit of paprika, some onion powder, garlic powder, salt, and I also will be using some chopped peppers, which I didn't pull them out the cabinet yet, but I will. Some chili peppers to give it a little spice, a little bit of oil, and the main secret ingredient, some pigtails. These are some fresh, raw pigtail. This whole pack was only $3.84. I got it from my local grocery, but normally I use smoked turkey, but I wanted my greens today to taste like my grandmother's, and my grandmother always used fresh pigtails, and that's what I wanted to use today because, as you guys know, I told you my husband don't too tough eat pork. He really don't eat pork, but he gonna eat a little bit of these greens today because I will be using these pork pigtails. And if you've never seen a pigtail before, this is how it looks. And I will be using this as my meat and my meat base for my collards and cabbage mix. So let me just clean these real quick and I'll put them in a pot and be right back. Alright, so you guys, I have my pigtails in the pot of water. These are going to cook and cook down. I'm going to try to let these cook down for an hour before I put my greens in there. And the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put my greens in first. After this cooks for about an hour and cook down, then I'm going to put my greens in here. I'm going to let my greens cook for about 30 minutes before I put my cabbage because greens takes longer to cook than cabbage. You have to know when your greens are done, when to add your cabbage. So right now, this time of the year, greens are kind of tender. They are not as tough. They're kind of tender right now, so it doesn't take them long to cook. So I'm gonna let this boil and cook down for about an hour. And in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and wash my greens, my shredded collard greens in the bag. I know they say they've been triple washed, ready to eat, but I like to still rinse my greens off again. So that's what I'm gonna do, and then I'm just gonna let them sit to the side while I chop up my cabbage. So let me start washing my greens off right now. Alright, so I took my cabbage out of the wrapper, and I'm just gonna take this top 2 layers off. I know some people like to use that, but I don't. That's trash for me. So I'm going to rinse this one time. I'm just gonna rinse this just to make sure there's no sand or anything on it. I'm gonna cut it straight down the middle, just like so. I'm gonna cut this core piece out of the middle at an angle. I'm gonna do both sides like that if it's on the other side. I don't like that thick piece. Okay. And then I'm gonna cut my cabbage up the same way I like my greens, so it can blend right in. Very, very thin, shreddedly. See how thin that is? They're gonna be thin and shredded just like my greens. Now when I fry cabbage, like in another video I showed you guys, they don't have to be this small. I just like to do this so they can blend right in with my greens. Alright, so here is my pigtails. They have cooked down. You see they've cooked down, they completely cooked. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add my greens to this pot. And I'm just gonna be adding my greens. I showed you guys, I already washed them off and everything, rinsed them really, really good. So I'm just gonna add, and yes, all of these are gonna fit in here. I'm just gonna add my greens for now. I won't put anything else in here but the meat and the greens. And I'm gonna let this cook down for about 30 minutes before I put my cabbage in here. Once I put my cabbage, then I'll put some seasonings and stuff, but for right now, I'm just gonna do my greens and I'm going to cover this just like this and come back in 30 minutes. Of course, in between, I'm gonna stir. I may come back in 10 minutes and stir to get the greens all covered in the broth that's down in there, but I won't be adding the cabbages until about 30 minutes. All right, you guys, look at my greens. Do y'all see how they have cooked down a bit? Okay, so now is the time that I'm going to add half of this cabbage. I won't be adding all of them. I'm just going to add half. Okay, cabbage doesn't take long to cook at all. Okay, that's it. I'm going to go ahead and add me some salt to this. You want to put your salt kind of heavy so you make sure it's seasoned real good. I'm going to add me a little garlic to this. I'm also going to add a half a cup of oil. Just about a half a cup. Okay. If you don't want to put any oil in it, you don't have to put any oil. I'm also going to be adding my crushed red pepper flakes to this. This is just to give it a little kick. If you want a little kick, you can use this. If not, then you can omit it. It doesn't make it hot. It just gives it a little kick. Okay. Now I'm just going to stir this in here. This smells so good, you guys. Yes, my collards and cabbage mix, honey. This is not going to take long at all. And of course, the cabbage is going to make a little bit more broth because you know cabbage make water. So I'm going to do this just like so. I'm going to give this a few more minutes to cook. Just a few. That's all it's going to take. I'm going to cover this, give it a few more minutes to cook. And I'm going to cook me some cornbread to go along with this, you guys. And we're going to be eating good. I tell you, you guys ought to smell how this kitchen smells. Oh my goodness. All right, so I'm going to let that cook. And we'll be right back. Y'all look, I am packed, honey. Look at these greens. Look at these collards and cabbage mix. Oh my goodness, look at that, y'all. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the juice down in there. Look at that. Look at my pigtails, honey, that my grandma used to use, honey. I can't wait to dive into these with a piece of cornbread. Oh my goodness. They season so good, y'all, because I ain't gonna lie, I already taste them. They season so good. You don't need no hot sauce. You just need a piece of that pigtail, them greens, honey, and a piece of cornbread. Ooh, my goodness. Don't get you no fresh onions with it. Chop them up and put it on top and get your fingers to start crunching it all up in there. You eat it straight with your fingers, honey. That's what I'm talking about. Look at them pigtails. Oh my goodness. Let me put me some on a little plate, y'all, right quick. Hold on. Y'all, look at that. Look at the pigtails. Look at the collards and the cabbage. Isn't that so pretty together with them red pepper flakes? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, y'all. Mmm. Mmm, 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 mmm. 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 Y'all, I've been trying to cook this now for 5 days, and I'm just getting around to do it. I kept telling my husband, babe, I want me some collard greens. I want to cook me some collards. I want to cook me some collards. I haven't had time, honey. With all this working, I haven't had time, y'all. But when I tell y'all, these pigtails, Now, if you don't want to use pork and you want to use your smoked turkey, go right ahead. But let me tell you something. These pigtails and these collard greens, my grandma may never lie. I'm gonna eat every bit of these, and I'm gonna go back for seconds because I got some cornbread waiting on this. Woo! Pigtails so tender. Y'all. Let me just sit there right now. If y'all ain't never had collard green pigtail in there, go ahead and try it. Get you some. Make you some collard green with some pigtails, honey. Best collard greens I ever had on earth, honey. Very, very good collard greens. If y'all enjoyed this video, because y'all know what time it is, it's time for me to sit down, fix me a plate, enjoy my meal. If you like this video so far, go ahead and subscribe. If you have not done so, please go ahead and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so every time I upload one of these easy peasy recipes, you'll be notified. I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in with Shake It Up with Shante. Until next video, I'll see y'all later. Good night.